Breaking stereotypes and shattering norms, Ketan Dattani, South Asian trailblazer, challenges cultural taboos and redefines what it means to prioritize your mental and physical health. Welcome to the Sabrina Show, the ultimate destination for captivating conversations and thought-provoking discussions. I'm your host, Sabrina, and in this episode, we explore why a positive mental attitude is not just a luxury, but a necessity in both life and business. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Ketan, welcome to the Sabrina Show. I am so excited to have you here. For me, it's such a privilege to have a South Asian male on the show today. I'm going to be picking your brains. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
You ready to
Let's
get
do
real,
this.
raw, and honest with me?
Yeah, let's do this.
Amazing. Now, I have been stalking your social media, and you've got the perfect family, gorgeous wife, gorgeous children. You're clearly someone that takes care of your mental and physical health. Has it always been like this?
It may seem that way, but Sabrina, it's not always been like this. I got thrown out of school in my early teens.
Wow, tell me more about that.
So as a young person, I was desperate to try and fit in. I grew up on a council estate. We were the only Asian family. And I just wanted to fit in, wanted to be accepted, and got mixed up in the wrong crowd.
So what does getting mixed up in the wrong crowd, without kind of going into whatever you feel comfortable,
Okay.
but tell me more about that. What did it feel like to grow up on the council estate?
So I feel like up until the age of about 10, I lived a very sheltered life at home, going to the temple, watching Bollywood movies, listening to Bollywood songs on the record. And then at the age of about 10, actually for my 10th birthday, I was given a bike, which I started to ride around outside, and which led me to the youth club, where I made friends who had a different upbringing to myself. And it enticed me. Their world seemed so exciting, and I actually finally fitted in. This was, it was my first time ever that I felt like I belonged. And then I started to do stuff I shouldn't. Not the typical Indian stuff that my mum and dad were telling me to do at home.
Yeah.
Listen to music differently, but also just lying to them and saying I'm going to the library when I wasn't going to the library. And this continued all from my early to mid-teens.
So what was that like for you? You know, you're a teenager, you're not hanging around with the right people. What was your mental health like? What was your outlook on life like at that time?
I was actually oblivious to my mental health. I thought I was doing the right things. I thought I had a bit of a rep in my age, and I thought I was someone, but I wasn't. And all the advice my parents were telling me and extended family were telling me is falling on deaf ears, because I was doing everything that I was against what I was taught and how I was brought up. So I was basically on a downward spiral, and it was a prophecy that I created for myself that it was actually really detrimental. I wasn't looking after my mental health. I wasn't looking after my physical health. I was doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing. I wasn't, I would be out for hours, and then I wouldn't even worry about meals. I'd skip meals. I'd be out doing stuff I shouldn't be. And I really wasn't focusing on myself.
So what was the turning point for you then? When did you say, you know what, enough's enough, I need to change?
There'll be several turning points. One of the key turning points was when I got into some trouble and I had to do some work with the probation services.
Right, okay.
And that kind of made me think, because with Asians, it's a lot of comparison, right?
Oh, we all know about the comparisons
Yeah.
in our culture, isn't it?
And I've got cousins 3-4 years younger than me doing GCSEs.
Yeah.
And here I am just wandering around aimlessly, and not having any direction, living for the day. Sometimes I'd have cash, sometimes I wouldn't,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of life I was living on a day-to-day basis, not really having a plan for the next day ever. My relationship with my parents was really taut at the time as well. It
Right.
was difficult.
Yeah.
They were trying to do the best they could. They were refugees from Uganda and really just worked all the hours that God was sending. And here I was, their son, out living a completely different life to what they envisaged. And my cousins all grew up in South Asian communities, primarily in Leicester and places like that. So they were surrounded by people that looked like them and,
Yeah.
acted like them and understood them. Whereas I was I'd only see them at weddings and funerals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't have that kind of South Asian
Mentality.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And but one of the key turning points was that, so whilst I was doing this work, I've always had a passion for the environment. Before it wasn't even called the environment, because I grew up in a concrete jungle, and I spent all my summer holidays and Easter holidays and half terms in Coventry in the Midlands with my grandparents.
Oh, nice.
And they had a garden. We didn't have a garden. We had a balcony. And they had a garden. And I was just drawn to how different invertebrates were connected to each other, and this miniature ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I got myself a book and started to learn the Latin names. I was actually a secret nerd, really.
Yeah.
Even though I was pretending to
I
be
want to be gangster, but secret nerd.
Absolutely. So, and then one of the things, so during this thing, we had to clear out this area, and I said to my probation officer that, because what I discovered was a colony of great crested newts.
Right.
It's an endangered species.
Wow. Okay.
And then when I told my probation officer, look, we can't work here because this is protected.
Yeah.
It's a protected species. He was like, you're always trying to get out of the work. And he's,
Yeah.
I think I had 120 hours left, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he basically F off.
Yeah.
You're just trying to
Totally dismissed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then I went to the local museum, and I told them.
How old was you at this time?
17 coming 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's you're doing your probation hours. You're a secret undercover nerd that knows about newts. You've gone to your probation officer to say, we got to protect this little family of newts here. Now you've gone to the museum to say, hey, actually, no, we need to take this a step further. What is going through your mind? Like, let's get into Ketan's mind here.
So, it's a combination of where I was brought up, how I was brought up, right? Because I was brought up to respect Dharti Ma, right?
Yeah.
This is the Mother Earth, right?
Yeah.
So before all this, sort of street shit, which was really shit,
Yeah.
I was brought up to respect Mother Earth and everything that the Earth provides to us,
Yes.
right? And when I saw that I could actually help, and as I say, look, it's an endangered species, and every species that's become endangered is due to man's activities. Human
Yes.
activities are causing problems to other species on this planet. So I don't know what really came over me. I just went straight to the library. I've told them that there's a colony of great crested newts in this particular spot.
Yeah. At the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The curator, I told them. Next day I've gone, it's all taped up. They basically.
Wow.
So I then had to complete my hours painting a church. But that was the first turning point in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it was...
What was it for you? Was it the fact that you followed through on something and there was an end result to that? What was it that made you say, okay, someone's listening to me here?
It wasn't just someone's listening to me. It was actually, look, I've made a difference here. And this is my passion. So the environment is my passion, right? So that's when it kind of so what am I going to do about it now?
Right.
I'm approaching I'm coming to the end of my teens. And my passion is the environment. I'm not going to go down the general route, it's not going to be for me the accountancy or the medicine, pharmacy. That's not going to be my route. So let me do something that I'm passionate about, because, I actually was led to believe that education wasn't for me. It's it's a fulfilling prophecy that I had created, but also the way the teachers used to talk to me, and I was led to believe I wasn't intelligent.
How did they talk to you, the teachers?
So in primary school, I remember, it was very distinctly, because I went to a Catholic school, and I was the only brown person in the whole school, actually.
Yeah.
And the teachers used to mock me, but come and talk to me extremely slowly, and they said, do you understand, and stuff like that.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And I know all the children would laugh, so I'd be the laughing stock, and the teacher would laugh with them.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, this was in the 70s. Things are different now, right?
Yeah, of course. And I'm assuming that at the time that's quite demoralizing.
Completely. So when I found a group of friends that, I felt like a sense of belonging, and I was someone now.
Did you almost feel invisible?
Far from it. Definitely not invisible. I was very visible because I stood out. I was different. So I was called Paki every day, on the way to school. everywhere I went on the bus, people, you know, oh, he's a Paki boy, don't sit next to the Paki and stuff like that. So I definitely didn't feel invisible. I felt very visible, but for the
all
wrong reasons.
reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Wow. So that's led you on to your first turning point where you felt that you want to make a change within the environment. You've made a slight shift there, but I'm assuming that the full shift hasn't happened by now. Let's go on to the next one.
So this was around August time.
Right.
And colleges start in September. So basically what I did, I went to my local college and said I'd like to do GCSEs, because now I thought, I didn't really see the end goal, but the first step was actually just getting back into the academic sphere.
Right.
And so I went to do GCSEs. I went to the college and they said, we can't let you do GCSEs over a year because you have to have GCSEs to do the retakes. So I didn't want to do it over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think, in fact, the college didn't offer that. They only offered retakes.
Right.
So you have to have failed GCSEs in order to do the retakes.
Right.
But I don't have GCSEs, do I?
No.
So then I went back the next day, a different person, and they told me the same thing. But I was determined. And then went back the third day and I met the head of science, Dr. Theo Kronje,
Okay.
a Ghanaian gentleman. And he looked me in the eyes. He said, look, I can let you do them. Don't let me down. I can see you can do you can do this. So I let you do the GCSEs. He was the head of science and he overrid the college policy of doing research. So then I was back into my academic sphere. Although I really struggled, having missed so much schooling. Yeah, I really struggled with GCSEs.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what was it like to have a teacher back you?
He was saying the same things as my mum and dad was saying, but it just, a stranger saying it hit home.
Always, isn't
Yeah.
it? Why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we hear it all the time from our loved ones, but
Yeah.
when a stranger says it, all of a sudden your eyes open up, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm like, he saw something in me that I couldn't even see in myself. Right? I just didn't, I don't see it, but he saw something in me. And he gave me that chance. And up until that point, all of my dealings with anyone in an authoritative position, whether it be probation officers, teachers, neighbours, police, anyone, right, was negative with adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when when I met someone that actually saw something in me, I didn't want to let him down.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let myself down. But more importantly, I didn't want to let Dr. Theo Kronje down.
Yeah. So you did the GCSEs, what happened?
Yeah, I did my GCSEs and got through. And then I did the equivalent of A-levels,
Right.
BTEC National Diploma in Science.
Yeah.
I have some really exciting news. Being a small business owner myself, I'm always looking for ways to taking my business to the next level. It's really important for me that I'm showcasing my brand, products or services in a way that really talks to my ideal client. We're offering a variety of sponsorship packages that will help you do exactly that. Could your next client be watching the show? Your brand will be showcased to our engaged audience right in the middle of their favorite show. From shout outs to full-on dedicated segments, we have a package that will suit your brand's needs. Reach out today and let's make your brand the star of the show. Drop us an email to find out more.
Yeah, so I was actually banned from the library.
You were banned from the library. Tell
Yeah.
us more about that.
I got myself into a skirmish. In fact, I was on a warning already due to disruptive behaviour in the library. So, and then when I got myself into a skirmish, I was banned from the library, which I needed the books for my studies, right?
Yeah.
So there were two ways we got around it. And I think at the time, each student could take a maximum of 4 books. So all the other students needed at least 3. So they would borrow 1 book each for me. Or there was actually a window where they could drop the books to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, you had a lot going on, didn't you?
Yeah.
I feel like many South Asian males watching this will really resonate with what you have to say, because many of us during our childhood, and especially through school, live double lives.
Completely.
Who we are at home and in our family setting in comparison to who we are out on the streets is totally different. And I feel like this is definitely the case for you. What was it like struggling and trying to balance both? Because you've got this bad boy image that is being portrayed throughout your school life and when you're out with your friends, and then you have that battle with your parents of the way in which they brought you up with their moral code.
I completely lived double life. And my switch off was, as soon as I come through the door, I'm Ketan. On the roads, I'm Cat. Right? So
Okay.
that was my, so, but as soon as I come in through the door, I'm Ketan. I'm trying, I don't speak English to my parents, I speak in Gujarati.
Yeah.
And I try and be the person, I mean, I'm proud of my cultural heritage and stuff like that. But my other life was kept on spilling over into my home life. So I was trying to be a good son, a good brother, just a good boy inside the house. But things kept on spilling over. You know, there'd be phone calls, knocks on the door, and it kept on spilling over. So obviously my parents were fully aware, but I wouldn't try and emphasize that life. I almost tried to hide it from them, but not very well.
Yeah.
I didn't do very well at hiding it.
Yeah. What inspired you to say to yourself that I want to make a turning point and I want to start looking at new leases of life, or living life in a different way that's going to help enhance my life? And what were those new things that you started to introduce into your life?
See, with me, anything I do, I go in fully, right? So whatever I'm into, whether it's good for me or bad for me, I'm so into it. I mean, you could say that I've got an addictive personality. So I swapped detrimental behaviors for behaviors such as mindfulness, meditation, exercise. So I basically swapped my addictions for addictions that are good for me and better for my well-being. And as a South Asian male, there's so much emphasis on being a certain way and not sharing your feelings and just, hiding it. And me, I'm the nucleus of the family, right? I've got a generation before me, I've got a generation after me. So I've got to hold it together for everyone, and I've got to be a different person to each person, depending on, what their requirements are for me at the time. And so it's not even about me, and I can't really express what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And so I found solace through meditation and mindfulness.
In a society where toughness equates to masculinity, how did you challenge that in your own family setting and conditioning?
So the way I grew up, right, my dad was just a hard man. He used to work a lot, he used to work for London Transport, and there's no messing around. Despite the stuff that I used to do, I reaped the repercussions from my dad for it, right? I was more scared of my dad than I was of the police. So I don't have that role model in order to, I'm trying to, you've got to also remember they were fresh into the UK, didn't really speak English, from Uganda, refugees. So they left everything to start a life anew. And I've actually become a much closer relationship with my dad, because I see how he's as a granddad than he was as a dad. We didn't see eye to eye because I thought that I knew life, he thought he knew life, right? And he was trying to embed in me his virtues, and I just thought, he's not grown up in the UK, he doesn't know what it's like to be first generation, he doesn't get me.
Do you feel that South Asian males lack positive role models?
Totally. Growing up, there were no South Asian positive role models. You'd see Bollywood, which I completely lost interest in from about the age of 10, right? And there was no other males around, certainly not for me. The only other Asian male I knew was the GP on my estate. That was and everyone was just working hard, and in my immediate peer group, there was no South Asian male role models.
Why?
Right?
Why are we lacking positive role models in our society? Who's to blame for this?
I think we as a community are to blame to a certain extent, right? Because if we don't have that sense of pride within ourselves, how are you going to instill that into the next generation?
How do we get better at this?
Search from within. So this is I'm still on a journey, right? But my journey has taken me for different places now, because I'm not seeking validation. I'm not trying to be the person that I'm expected to be. I'm turning up as Ketan, right? So I'm turning up wherever I go. I'm turning up as me. I'm being authentic to myself. By being authentic to myself, I'm a better father and a better son.
I'm going to be real and honest with you. You go onto social media, everyone's talking about authenticity. Everyone's talking about searching within. Everyone's talking about be true to yourself, be authentic. What does that actually mean? It can't be all fairies and butterflies and doing meditation. It's hard work.
No, completely. So being authentic to yourself is actually learning to read energies and follow your gut instincts. So despite the fact I could be in a setting, there could be handshakes, hugs and all that, I'm feeling if the energy ain't right, I'm not going to be put myself in that situation again. You know, life is too short, right? The way I look at it, I'm in Q3 now, right? Q1, whatever. Q2 was kind of like in a transitional period. I'm in Q3. I may not even make it to Q4, right? So, you know, I'm going to be 51 this year. So this is my third quarter. So now this is my chance to actually put all the jigsaw pieces and line up the dots, and because everything happens for a reason. Yeah. So the reason's not always apparent looking forward, but if you look back, it all kind of makes sense, and everything leads to something else. And there are no bad experiences, right? And every experience shapes you and makes you stronger. As long as you don't repeat your failures, you're not failing, are you?
There'll be a lot of guys watching this thinking, okay, look within, you know, what's that supposed to mean? How do we get our, and I don't want to keep saying South Asian males, like putting it on them, but it's spaces like this where we can have these open conversations. The fact that I have you here today, I'm taking full advantage. So focusing on South Asian males, how do we get them opening up? How do we get them feeling more vulnerable and more emotionally aware and feeling like, hey, it's okay to talk about what you're going through?
This is a big problem. Not just with South Asian males, I think males of colour, right? That you have to have a certain persona, and society expects you to be a certain way. And even within your peer groups, there's this toxic masculinity where you're trying to compete with each other, not like lift. And if someone's doing well or is doing different, you judge him, you know, like that's not your people there, right? They're not really clapping for you.
No.
They're your good time buddies. And they'll be gone in a heartbeat if you really needed them, right? So you got to be able to, for me, the turning point was, personally, I started light meditation. And through light meditation, I started to feel energies. And energies can't lie. And just because someone's energy is not aligned to mine doesn't mean they're not a good person or I'm a bad person. Energies don't always align. And that doesn't mean they won't align at a later stage. But if your energies are aligned, don't put yourself in that predicament, because you may think, oh, these are my ride or die, these are my day one, these are my boys. They're not your boys, right? So you got to do what's best for you, and you got to start feeling your energy, and you kind of follow your instinct. By following your instinct, you know what situations are right for you, what behaviors are right for you. You got to think, because Sabrina, you must have been in a situation where you've spent time with someone and you feel like you're drained, like there's nothing, it's completely sapped you, yeah? So why would you then put yourself in that situation every Friday and Saturday night? Because they're draining your energy, yeah? Or you could be in you could meet someone that you may not even see them often, or even a phone call, and they uplift you, and you vibe with each other. So then you want to spend more time with people like that.
But so tell me a little, let's talk about that, because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to find it hard to let go. We all know that when we grow, we're going to have to let go of certain relationships and friendships, because that friendship or relationship does not serve us anymore. It's not growing with us. It doesn't serve. So how did you deal with that? Did you lose some friends along the way?
I lost so many friends. But were they really friends? Were they really friends? Because I wouldn't have lost them. They'll still be here. And life is a journey. So not everyone's going to follow, you know, sometimes someone may take that road, and you may meet again. But you can't bring everyone on the journey, and you're not going to be on everyone's journey. They're not going to be on yours. It's inevitable that you're going to lose some people on the way. And before, I used to really, it used to hurt me, thinking that, look, that person's been part of my life for maybe 2 decades or longer, right? And we did stuff together, and we shared certain memories. And the memories are not going to go away, right? But you just can't bring everyone on the journey. And it's not even sad. The truth, for growth, you're going to have to let people go.
Yeah. For sure. Life is turned for you. You have other responsibilities. You get married. You have children. And like with all of us, our routines change and our priorities change along the way. Now, you're someone that has now taken, like you said, to meditation. You're taking time to really be aware of your mental health. You're taking care of physical health. And you've had to cut people along the way because they don't serve you anymore, or your lifestyle anymore. In our culture, and with the conditioning that we have, we're massive people pleasers. How are you juggling this new lifestyle that you're having with the cultural conditioning and trying to please everyone along the line?
This new lifestyle, it sort of just happened, you know. Basically, I do not seek validation from anyone, apart from my mom maybe, right? But she doesn't understand. But I'll run things past her because she'll always give me her best opinion of stuff. But I don't really seek, but I don't seek validation. I validate myself. As long as what I'm doing is ethical, it's not hurting anyone, then so be it. If people don't want to be part of that journey, that's their choice. It's not for everyone. And you know, there's a phrase in Gujarati. It's called Jagya Tati Sawa. So from the moment you wake up, some people wake up earlier, some people wake up later. But from the moment you wake up, it's morning. And talking of waking up, you know, I have a morning routine, I have a night routine. So I have certain non-negotiables in my day that everything else could be going haywire, but that keeps me focused. Like, I need to do this, I need to do this. And no matter what, I need to do this, I need to do that.
Ketan, what's your morning routine like? I want to know.
So my morning routine, I put my alarm for 5 a.m, but my body clock will get me up around 4:40-ish. So first thing, I'll just basically be grateful for, you know, the fact I've got another day. My heart is beating.
Yeah.
The sun has well, sometimes in the winter it's not even risen, but the sun is going to rise
Yeah,
no matter what.
no matter
After
what.
night is always going to be day, right? So the sun is going to rise. My children are well, my family are well, my parents are well. Everything else I'll deal with. So I save some affirmations. I'll do the Gayatri Mantra in my mind, and I'll get up just before the alarm goes off or when the alarm goes off at 5. Then I'll do some like light bodyweight exercises just to get the blood flowing. Cold shower. That's a must for me. Now I've been cold showering. It's a game changer for me. So I've been cold showering for about 3 years. Cold shower, and then go to the gym. So I walk the dog and then go to the gym, right? So this is all me time, and I need that solitude. I love my own company. That time, me time in the morning is where I make notes, I think of things, but my morning routine will never involve like a phone. I need that 1 hour of phone free, because otherwise you straight away fall into that trap of comparison. And the comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm only comparing myself to the person I was, not to anyone else. So what am I going to see on Instagram? I don't check emails. So I have a gadget-free first hour of the day and a gadget-free last hour of the day. By the time I come back from the gym and I've done me, then I can get the children up, you know, I can help get them ready, do the school drops, and I can actually be the best version of myself. But I need that me time to prepare myself to be the best version of myself for the remainder of the day.
So that's your must, no matter what's going on, that's what you're doing all the time.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Ketan, I want my viewers to take something away from this. Advice, tips, strategies. A guy watching this right now, how can he shake up his life? Give it to us.
So number one, be comfortable, be uncomfortable. Just change it up. Don't become complacent. It could be simple things like I put the pillow on the floor and I'll sleep on the floor. I could take the bus sometimes instead of taking the car. So I'm always changing it up, right? So I'm always putting myself in different situations, and anything that I'm not comfortable with doing, I would just say yes and go for it. So make myself comfortable in that situation. So number two is diet and exercise. Now everybody should, within their means, do whatever. You don't have to be a member of the gym. You don't have to go to the gym. You could do stretching at home. You could do bodyweight exercises, but everyone should exercise, eat healthy meals, and eat, you know, within particular times. Number three, I mean, this may be a bit controversial for you, but get off your phone. Just actually get off your phone. Your phone is wasting hours and hours of your time looking at other people's lives, scrolling, looking at cats jumping around in sandboxes and all of that. That's not going to help you, right? Get off your phone and be strong about it. So initially what I was doing, because I kept on getting drawn to it, it's like a drug. Every time it beeps, I felt I had to look. So I've actually put it on permanently on do not disturb mode, and it's always just out of sight.
Yeah. So Ketan's top 3 tips. Number 1, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Number 2, look at your diet and the exercise, and even if it's 20 minutes a day, do something for yourself that's going to get the body moving. Number 3, the big one, the controversial one, get off your phone. Put it on do not disturb and just look at it. Maybe have a set time and maybe put hour in the morning, hour in the evening. I love that.
Absolutely. So I've even got, even all the apps, I've set times. So with Instagram, for example, I've set it that I could spend maximum minutes or 15 minutes in a day. I actually thought it wasn't working because I haven't seen that sign come up that I've been on Instagram for 15 minutes. And then randomly when I was traveling, it came up. So I know it's still so that means I'm probably spending 14 minutes a day on Instagram, right? But that's the time when I'm traveling or whatever. But I will not look at it in the morning. I will not look at it in the evening. The only time I will have my phone on if I'm listening to podcasts or audiobooks, but it's on in the background. I'm not physically holding it, and actually there's not a screen time. It's not in my hand.
So we've spoken a little bit about why meditation is important for you and how you implement it into your morning or your evening routines. Why is self-connection, meditation, so important, especially within the South Asian community? What benefits does it hold, and how can it enhance people's lives?
Well, Sabrina, I can only talk from my own experience.
Yeah.
Since I've started meditating, and I was using guided meditation initially, and it was just simple. Do you know what box breathing is?
No, tell me.
So it's basically a 16-second cycle.
Okay.
You breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. So it's like a box, right?
Okay.
So it's and that completely will change your mindset. So that's how I started my meditative journey. Then I actually started to discover more things about myself, and I love my own company. I'm my best friend now, right? Through meditation, I've actually got to know myself better, and by getting to and you know, it's something I could be traveling on a train or a plane. I can meditate now because I can completely switch off background noise and meditate. And by me getting to know myself better, I'm actually knowing what my boundaries are, what I can do, and what I'm able to achieve. I do not seek external validation. I'm in my own lane, and my competition is the guy in the mirror.
Wow, I love that. That's as long as we're that 5% better than who we was yesterday.
Absolutely.
That's all you want, right?
Incrementally, you want to get better every day.
Yeah. Let's be real. The way in which you live your life is not for everyone. Like, come on, 4:40 a.m., like 5 a.m. That's when I'm just turning the pillow. But have you ever faced any pushbacks from your own community or just throughout life?
Absolutely. I thrive on pushbacks. It may sound controversial, but I love pushbacks because pushback means that person cares enough in some instances to not want you to do something that they wouldn't do. But just because it's not possible for them, or they feel it's not possible for them, that doesn't mean it's not possible for me.
That's amazing. I think that's really important because a lot of people are scared of that.
Absolutely.
But actually that's where growth lies, is when you're leaning into the uncomfortable, you're pushing yourself and leaning into spaces where you feel like you can't stretch yourself is where true growth happens.
Absolutely.
Looking ahead, what do you hope to see in our community around men's mental health? How do you hope that it's going to get better, and what are you doing to contribute to that?
What I'd like to see is we supporting each other, we lift each other collectively, right? We're not in competition with each other. He's doing this and she's doing that. You know, we men particularly feel like they're in competition of what car has he got, where does he live, what's his postcode, and his kids are going to this private school. Don't watch that. Watch yourself, but lift each other. And when it's you know, you see someone progressing, clap for them, but genuinely clap for them. Be happy for everyone, and collectively we can lift each other.
100%. I love that. More support. You know, we always talk about women supporting women. Come on, guys, let's support each other. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the Sabrina Show.
It's been an absolute pleasure being a guest on your show.
Oh, you know, for me, I am in awe whenever I have a male here because I don't get to have it all the time. So I really hope I didn't probe you too much.
Not at all.
But guys, how amazing was it to have Ketan here with us today? I hope you guys take something away from the conversation. Actually, you know, I know you will. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll leave Ketan's details down in the bio. If you have any questions, his DMs are always open. I'm saying it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.